Ready? Here we go.
Different points of view and highs and lows. A new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind, drown out the noise, and see if this connected. And see if this connected.
What's up, fam? The mission of this Connected podcast is to connect generations and situations about faith, life, and whatever comes along the way. To not necessarily agree, but be listened to. These conversations, of course, highlight the perspective of our various guests, and you are always welcome to agree or even disagree. But as always, we hope that it is done in charity. Now, here's your host, Catholic.Dad.
We have another couple as our guest in this series that we're doing this month of marriage and family and life and ministry. And today, our special guests are people who I've known within our ministries, within my parish at St. Mary's here in Fontana. If you've never been to the church in Fontana and you're having a hard time looking for it, it looks just like the building surrounding it. It's a warehouse. But it's an older warehouse because we were the first warehouse in South Fontana. And then all of a sudden, everything became an Amazon warehouse. But yes, our parish is still a warehouse. We are, however, breaking ground on October 1st. So if you would like to help us build our church here in the south end of Fontana, we've been trying to build this church for over 30 years. So if you want to help out, if you're listening and you have some money, or if you just want to send a couple of dollars, for $500, you can purchase a brick for this church. We need a couple of more $1 million to finish building this church. So if you want to do that, hit us up. You can always be a part of the church. You can have your own personal brick or a series of bricks. You know, you can buy a whole altar if you want. So contact us. And while I'm on that, if you want to support the podcast, go to our link in our bio in our Instagram and go to our part where it says Patreon/thisconnected, and you can be a part of supporting the podcast and help us grow the faith in young people and in the church. You know, your help for as little as $1 goes a long way, and 100% of our income that you donate goes specifically to helping youth and young adult ministries throughout the Diocese of San Bernardino, whoever is needing those funds. So please help out those 11 people who are our patrons. Thank you so much for being the patron to This Connected. You guys have been being the ones who are continuing to keep this podcast going. And as a note, before I introduce our guests, we're actually featured in the Inland Catholic Bite. So we're actually in the newspaper. So if you haven't seen it, on page 7, we got a full half page, actually a full page, with Tony and I's faces on there. And thank you for the guy who really edited the picture. I look skinnier in this picture than I really am. But that tells the story of how this podcast started. So thank you, Inland Catholic Bite, for putting us in the newspaper. So on that note, again, support the podcast. Go to our link in our bio, become a patron, and help support this podcast and help support youth and young adult ministries throughout our diocese. So on that note, let's introduce our guest. The people who I have before me are two people who I've always seen at the church, but I never really spoke to. I never really, I've listened to your talks, your testimonies at church, didn't understand a word you were saying, and I was sitting in the back. But you guys have such passion when you guys are giving those talks to the parents or to people in our community. And I was like, man, I wish I really listened and learned when I took Spanish for 2.5 years. But I didn't. but I can just see the passion in you guys and the things that you do, and your beautiful children. So first of all, tell our listeners who you are, your name, what church you go to, and what ministries you guys are in.
Well, thank you for the invitation. My name is Laura Toledo. We serve at St. Mary's Church. We teach catechisms to parents, and we give a talk to people that needs help in communications. It's called Aventuras en el Matrimonio.
Mhm.
In English, it's Adventures.
Adventures in Marriage.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's perfect for this episode.
You're next.
Yeah, my name is Joe Toledo. And yeah, we've been serving in St. Mary for, I don't know, about 7, 8 years already. Yeah, and we've been in different ministers. I started as a lector, obviously in Spanish, and then we are work. I mean, Laura, she was on the coro,
Choir.
in the choir, and then we are teaching the catechist fathers, and yeah, we're still working. And actually we work on the altar as altar society,
Yes.
taking care of the decoration of the altar. Yeah, but we're working.
Yeah. So, listeners, fam, what I have to share with you is when I invited Joel and Laura to the podcast, you guys were a little apprehensive because English is not your primary language.
No.
It's Spanish.
Yeah.
And so you're a little apprehensive because, you said it's in English. But here's the thing. You're able to communicate everything and anything about the faith because you have a passion for it. And that's what I love about you guys, is that it doesn't matter. And I want to say, if you guys are listening to this podcast on Spotify or on iTunes, you can't visualize how every time that Joel speaks, he's looking at Laura. It's like either one, he's like looking for affirmation, or he's gonna get in trouble, or he's like totally in love with her, because every time that he looks at her and she looks back at him, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. This two people are just completely in love. And how long have you guys been married?
Well, she knows about the numbers, so
I guess want to get in trouble.
Well, we got married in 2015, religious. But we were,
2014.
I mean, I'm sorry, 2014.
2014.
Yeah, 2014. But we've been together. I was 19 years old.
So tell us about that, because most people don't understand that. Did you get married here, or did you get married in Mexico?
Here in St. Mary.
At St. Mary's?
Mhm.
Now, previous to that, were you married before that?
No.
And so this is what's important if you're comfortable in sharing.
Yeah, sure.
This is what's important for people to hear, that people don't necessarily get married right away. They live their path, and then they come into this period where they get married in the church. So tell us your story.
Well, I got pregnant at 18. So we were not planning to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I got pregnant, so we had to be together,
Mhm.
Like, oh, she's pregnant, we have to live together. But we were not planning because we didn't talk about it. Oh, we're going to get married, nothing. So I don't know, when that situation happened, I think it's more like, oh, I have to live with you. I have to stay with you. That's how, I was
Mhm.
thinking about that. And I got, I had the baby, and we stayed together, and we had so many problems. I think it was because we were too young.
You're very young.
Very young, and then we didn't have a stable job. I was out of high school, and I'm like, oh, my life is gonna change. My friends, they used to go to college, and I was pregnant, and I felt so bad because I was like, oh, why is this happening to me?
You feel like you're missing out.
Yes, yes. And yeah, we have 3 kids now, and we got married in 2014.
So that was how many years from then to that time?
Wow.
That's
How
a
many
lot.
years?
I'm talking about 14, 15 years
14 years.
before we get married by church. That's a lot.
And so during that time, you guys are 18, and you're pregnant, and everybody else is moving on in their lives. What made you guys stay together? Because most people, when that happens, that's hard. They split up.
Yes.
I think that's God's plan, but we don't understand it. I mean, you don't get it because we haven't lived our faith. During that period, we never live our faith. We not even go to church.
We didn't have God in our lives.
No,
When you got pregnant, were you active in church?
No.
No.
no,
No.
no.
And then you had one child. And then how soon until you had another child?
Well, our oldest one is 25, and Samantha, the middle one, she's 18.
All right. So 7 years.
That's right. Yeah. So when my son was 10, around 9, 10, he get the 3
The sacraments?
sacraments when he was 10.
He wasn't baptized
That's right.
because we didn't know anything about church, about God.
Oh, that's so interesting.
I know we're Catholics, right?
Yeah, because I thought you guys, when you see people in when you see people who are active in church, this is always what people think. Oh, they've always been. It's like they've always been. It's like you see people like we have examples like the Marines, like their kids. You always see them in church, so you always think that they're in church. And even their story, I'm not going to share their story because that's their story. Even us, we weren't active in church. But even you, when I thought, these two, they must have been like always active in church. But you weren't. That wasn't your story.
No, it was we are completely out of the church. I mean, our Sundays, we spend our Sundays doing what? Nothing. I mean, living like a normal people, like we're not going to church.
I always call those aren't the normal people. We're the normal people. So those people who aren't going, those are the abnormal people. They don't know what's missing.
At my job, my coworkers, they used to talk about church, oh, I go every Sunday. And they used to ask me, do you go to church, to mass? I'm like, no. I don't have that time, and all it matters is that I have God in my heart. That's it. I used to say that. And they're like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
And you're like, I'm not like one of those hypocrites. Those hypocritos, they go to church and then they...
So, like my son, he did his 3 sacraments in St. Joseph.
St. Joseph.
He was 11, 10.
Around 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Is that when you changed? Is that when you came back to the church?
No, I think we did it because it was time to baptize.
Oh.
So he also wanted to be a altar server.
Oh.
He's like, Mom, I wanna help the priest. We're like, yeah. But we never go back.
Yeah.
We didn't. So after 6 years?
Around
7
there,
years? Yeah. It was time for Samantha to do her first communion.
No.
So I went to church to find out what we need. And that's when she started to go to get to classes, for first communion.
That's when it started.
Yes. Because it was, we needed to go to church every Sunday to Mass. The first day we went, I was surprised. I was looking everybody. I'm like, oh my God, there's a lot of people here. And I'm like, oh, and we're here. It was It was amazing.
Now, when you first came, did you feel like you were being judged? Like people are looking at you and like, oh, look at these people.
No?
Did you feel welcome?
Yes. I thought everybody was nice. Like, I see their faces, like, different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, we're missing this, you know?
Mhm.
We have to be here. We used to go to the classes, you know? And at first, for me, it was kind of boring
Mm-hmm.
because I remember Angie. She used to talk about God and this and that, and I was like, oh, this lady talking
Working
about
and
God.
let's go home.
Yeah. And sometimes, to be honest with you, we used to miss class. We used to drop off my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
do the signing, and we used to go to the market. And now that we give catechism, we tell them that it's important to stay in the class.
You tell her, I know what you're going to do because I used to do that.
Yeah. And I
We
share.
get mad. You have to stay in class.
Yeah. And we share that, you know, like we used to leave.
Mm-hmm.
We used to leave the class.
A lot of people think then we are perfect, or like you said before, then we are, our whole life in church. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, when Samantha started getting ready for first communion, that's when we're to church to start, getting involved. And then Laura, I mean, it was our idea to get married, okay?
Mhm.
But she needs to go. She needs to do the first
First
communion.
communion. Yes.
Wait, you didn't have first communion yet?
No.
Your kids are going to first communion and you haven't gone first. But you
No.
had.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I went to Rica.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 So she start, again getting classes for her first communion.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get married, and then she make the first communion at the same time.
Yeah.
Wait, so your first communion was the day you got married?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That same day you had that two sacraments.
Yes.
Matrimonio
Mm-hmm.
and Eucharistia.
Yep.
And guess what? We get married on my birthday.
Oh!
Yeah.
What a
it's kinda
gift.
like-
Did you
kinda
cry?
like- yeah. Only, yeah. Yeah. It was my.
Oh, I'm crying. Oh, that's so beautiful. That is such a beautiful story because most people think the perfect wedding is the most beautiful place. I get married in Hawaii. You see that a lot. People getting married at the beach
Yeah.
with a sunset coming down or the sunrise coming up, and they're wearing their weddings at the beach, and they have the perfect party,
Yeah.
and they have all their guests, and they miss the fact that the most beautiful part of the wedding is actually the wedding
Sacrament.
when you receive
Oh, yeah.
Jesus for the first time together.
Yes.
And she received Jesus the first time
Yes.
on your wedding, on your birthday.
Yep.
And say, she's crying, I'm crying. Where's the tissue?
Please give me a
Okay,
box,
where's-
man. Give me a box.
Where's
A
the
whole box.
tissue box? I was like, oh my God.
We will need it.
It's
believe
because,
me.
remember in that day, it's like, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I was like,
She's still in love. Yeah.
now the way you two look at each other, it's sick. It's like, you keep looking at each other. Hey, I'm over here too. I love this conversation because I love love stories, and this is truly a love story. Jesus brought you together.
It was just Jesus. I mean, if you plan this way, I mean, without Jesus, forget it. It was God's plan. Since we met, the first time, and everything starts from that moment. Everything starts from that moment.
Oh,
So we spent. I mean, I was working. Actually, she was working in a company, and then I get to work for what, like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time that she saw me, she get in love with me.
is that right?
Everything start from that point to the point that we are right now. Yeah, so it was a God's plan. So I mean, And then when we get married by church, again, it wasn't my birthday. It was a special day. A lot of good things happened that day. A lot of things. And then the problems start coming our way. Are really, really hard problems. Really hard problems.
Well, tell us about those.
I cannot get in details, but they were really, really bad problems. But again, thanks God, we're still together. We're still together. We understand, and it happened for some reason.
I just want to share that, to our young listeners, that when people get married, it's not perfect.
No, it's not.
But Jesus' love is perfect.
Yeah.
Christ's love that dwells in you is what is perfect. We're imperfect, but we continue because we know that we have the love of Christ in us.
Yeah.
And that we love the other person through Christ, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And so that's important to learn, that we love the other person through Jesus Christ. And that's why I teared up, because you share the Eucharist together for the very first time when you truly became one body.
Yes.
You became one body, because before you were married, you loved each other, but you were two bodies.
Yeah.
You never share the body of Christ together. And so that's so beautiful. And so, now I'm lost in this conversation because we're just having such a good talk. But now you have 3 children, and they got to see your wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. It was really, really, really special day. It was really special day. It was I think it was a holiday, because we have our family, my 3 kids. Everything was so perfect, but not because we organized, not because her makeup. No. It was because we're getting, together, in front of God. It was really, really special day.
You're going to make me cry.
Go ahead. We have a lot of
tissue.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it was really, really special day.
Did you propose to her again the second time, or did you just say, no, we're going to get married? Or did you tell him, hey, I want to get married in the church?
You know what? I think you did, right?
Because I told you that I wanted to get married, but you didn't say anything until you said to me, let's get married. And I'm like, he's playing around. He's like, no, let's get married. Let's find out what we need to get married. And that's when you went to St. Mary to ask.
Yeah, because you don't get it. I mean, you don't understand what does that means, I mean, she said, let's get married. Let's go to church. Let's get married. I was kind of like, no, I mean, we're living good, No. But I start thinking, okay, let's get married. But as soon as you get married, you understand the compromise that you have, not just with your wife, in front of God. Just in that moment, you understand that it's a big, big thing, get married in front of God. And then, I mean, again, it was a really, really special day. I mean, you had to see it. That moment, everything. I'm not talking about, the fiesta. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about church.
Oh, yes.
I'm talking about that moment. As soon as we step in church, I'm talking about that moment. And when we receive the communion, that special moment.
I love weddings. I love being a witness to weddings. I love the fact that this is the only sacrament that you give to each other. That the priest in persona Christi, in the person of Christ, is a witness.
That's right.
Yes.
Like Jesus is just a witness, and you give each other the sacrament.
That's right.
It's the only one. And it's like, why would people miss that? But that's something that happens. You have everyone going to the party, to the fiesta, but they never go to the wedding.
Yeah.
It's like they go to the feast,
but
they don't go to the wedding. It's like you're missing out on a miracle. It's like miracles happen every day and they miss it. So if you are one of those people who always miss the wedding, you're missing miracles happen.
Yeah.
You have to go. That's just the most beautiful part. I
It
always tell
is.
people, if you're not going to the wedding, don't go to the feast.
You go to
Leave the present at the door.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So we still a church and parish working, and one of the biggest challenge right now is work with our kids, especially the oldest one.
Hmm.
So we talked with him, we spoke with him, and he's kind of talking about the marriage. He's kind of not ready for get married. He says he's not ready. He's not ready yet. He's 25 years old, and he says, "No, I'm not ready yet." Exactly why I don't know, but he says, "No, I'm not."
I was
I'm not."
28.
Really?
Yeah. I was 28. Maria was 27.
Mm.
We were going to school. I don't think I was mature enough until I was 26.
Wow.
Boys mature at the age of 26, so maybe in 1 year for him. But miracles happen,
Yes.
and I think it was for us. It was better that we were older and more mature, because I don't think I don't think I would have had your fortitude, both of you, to succeed in that. And I see that. I see young people quit because they don't have the guidance.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't quit,
No.
and you guys pursued it. And it was actually your son, probably his miracle, when he had to go get baptized, that got you started on that.
That's right.
And then I remember one picture that you posted on Facebook that I totally admired, and it was your youngest, and he made a prayer altar in his
Yes.
home.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, that was super cool. I was like, yeah, he's praying, and he's learning from you because of your witness. Now, and then Samantha, she was, I was like, did you have your kids go to religious education in Spanish for first communion? And
Yeah. For Samantha, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No?
She went in Spanish.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
now, why
I
is it
remember.
that you have them go? Because that is the thing with a lot of people. They want their kids to go to in our church, in many a church in San Bernardino, to go to their faith formation in Spanish.
Hmm.
But you took a turnaround, and Samantha took it in English.
That's right.
Why that way?
Well, yeah, for First Communion, it was Spanish, and Confirmation, English. So when we started going to church, we used to go to Spanish Mass. And when it was time to go to English, they didn't want to go to English. And they speak very good English. So I was like, I was kind of confused, because I'm like, they speak English. How come they don't want to go to the English? Because they didn't know the prayers, they didn't know words in English, how to say things in English. And now they like to go to English. But before it was a Spanish Mass. Now they're happy to go to English. And I think I want my daughter, because I want them to speak Spanish. There's like, I know family that they speak Spanish and their kids don't speak Spanish. And I don't want that. I want my kids to have the Spanish. It's important, yeah.
One of the challenges that we have with them is obviously the faith, right? So we're not pushing them. Okay, you had to go in English or you had to go in Spanish. No, we try to just let them go. All right, let's go to Mass. Okay, what time? Oh, 6 o'clock in the morning. All right, let's go. Spanish. 9 o'clock, English. That's fine. Let's go. We're not trying to push them. We try to guide them. All right, let's go to Mass. We spoke a lot. And we notice, and they feel comfortable in English or in Spanish. Okay, go ahead. Let's do it. Yeah, because we want them know the faith. If they feel comfortable in English or in Spanish, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because they have both languages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not pushing them.
I always say that, the mass, and when they put it, it's like, oh, the Spanish mass at 9 o'clock, English mass at 11. I said, don't call it that. And it's just a play on words. But I said, if you say it, the mass, the 9 a.m. mass in Spanish, or the 11 o'clock mass in English, that means it's just a language. But when you say it, the Spanish mass at 9, that means it's for the Spanish. And the English mass at 11, that means it's for the English.
Yeah.
And then they have like, oh, the 7:30 mass, the Filipino mass.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, well, that means it's just for the Filipinos. I was like, no, it should be the 7 o'clock mass in Filipino so that everyone is welcome.
Yeah.
Because I actually prefer the Spanish mass.
Really.
If I miss, I prefer the 8 o'clock or the 5 p.m. Spanish mass because it's so alive environment. It's a different cultural experience because it's just a different culture.
Yes.
But it's
It is.
still Catholic.
Yes.
And everyone should feel welcome, regardless of whether you speak the language or not. The Mass is the Mass.
Yeah.
Is the Mass. And everyone should be welcome and everyone should be able to go to those Masses. But again, you said the most difficult thing is the faith of our young people and not pushing them and giving them options. And actually, Pope Francis wrote in Christus Vivit that our role as adults is to mentor and to guide and to direct.
Yeah.
And when I did youth ministry, I think it's still the vision statement for youth ministry is to lead teens closer to Christ. And I think everyone should understand that as a parent, our role is to lead our children closer to Christ so that they get to walk the rest of the way. Because just like you in your marriage, if someone forced you to get married in the church,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had that same loving experience as when you chose to get married in the church. That's why, again, the church doesn't force people to get married like they used to. Those are actually invalid marriages
That's right. Yeah.
because they're forced to. So now let's talk about ministry. What ministry are you guys active in right now? What is your ministry? And it doesn't have to be, people always say, oh, I'm not involved in a ministry. They're thinking, oh, I'm part of matrimonios, I'm part of crecimientos, I'm part of a prayer group. No, your ministry is how you're serving, how are you proclaiming, the gospel to the world, how you are living out the kerygma. So how are you, what's your ministry now?
Catecismo. Right?
Together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're together.
Like little kids. What grade?
No, the fathers, the
Parents.
parents,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I asked Patty if our faith formation corner, if I could teach the little kids. She said no.
You know what? During the pandemic, we didn't have no teachers. So we had the opportunity to teach kids. So when they give us the opportunity, I asked Joe, so are we going to say yes? And he's like, well, I don't know about kids. I go, well, let's try. He's like, I don't know. Like he was thinking about it, And we had them for 2 years and I learned so much from them. A lot. Things that they say, like, about a saint. I don't know the name of the saint.
San Agustin.
Is that
right?
true that
That's mine.
that he was he had too many women and I was like, I didn't know about that until I asked.
I think it was San Agustin, right?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but it was a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, and the things they asked, I'm like, I don't know what to answer.
No, but with the parents, we think then they know everything already.
Yeah.
The parents, and it's not true. It's not true. Even the first year, right? some parents approach to us and they know the classes, and they told us a lot of comments. Hey, I never knew about the mass. I never knew about this part. I never knew about this. I've been Catholic for my whole life, but I don't know about this.
That they didn't know the meaning,
Mm-hmm.
why we do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that we as catechistas we need to work with the parents,
Mm-hmm.
because they're supposed to teach their
Yeah.
kids, right?
They're the primary catechists.
That's right. But most of them they don't know. Like
Like us.
exactly.
That's how we
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we need to work more with the parents. A lot of work with the parents.
Working with both ends. One of the things that we learn in ministry, with the things that we're learning now, is that the church should not be silos. This is for the parents. This is for the adults. This is for the young people. This is for the Spanish community. This is for the English community. That's separating. What we should do is everyone should be within the church. Young people should be in the church. Parents should be in the church, and we learn together and we connect,
Yeah.
and we minister together. And that's how the church should be. Not you're over there, you're over there, you're over there, because when we do that, we find out that, well, they're okay, but there's, we are one body.
Yeah.
We are one body. We're one body in Christ. So that's beautiful that you guys are doing that, because I think people truly benefit. Because if the parents are benefiting, then they're going home and teaching, and when the kids are benefiting, then they're benefiting together, and that's that's the family of God.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when they go to their class, it's only women. They don't go with the husband.
Yeah. Is that, you think that's cultural? Because
I think so.
in my country, in the Philippines, when I went back to the Philippines, I would go to mass, and there would be no men inside the church at the mass. And then I walk out, the men were outside of the church, but they wouldn't go inside.
What?
It's cultural, because Mexico is kind of like, oh, go to church, it's for women, it's not for me.
Yeah.
That's even with the classes through Zoom, you just see the women in the front of the camera, right? But and on the side or behind the cameras, the husband, they're over there, just listen, just listening.
They're listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is true that when the woman, the mother, is active in church, I believe the percentage of their children who remain in the church is less than 20%. But when the father is actively participating in the church, that goes almost to 90% that their
Wow.
children remain in the faith.
Wow.
And why is that? Why is that? Because me, personally, I'm not a theologian, but for me, Mother Mary holds us, in her mantle of love, the church. But Joseph protects the church. He is the universal protector of the church. And so when you have both Mary and Joseph, then the kids feel safe. They want to go because dad is going.
Yeah.
They don't want to go because mom is going. They know they're going to be okay because mom's going to love me anyways. But when dad is going, everybody goes.
Yes.
And then
Sure.
mom continues to teach and love. The universal protector. That's why it's very important to keep that whole family intact
Yes.
as much as possible, and to work on that, to work on an intact relationship, to be able to raise children of God together. It's very important. I always say that our children are a gift. We don't deserve them, but they're a gift from God, so that we can, and the only expectation God has of us when he gives us children, whether they're from adoption or whether they're biological, is to return them back to him.
Yeah.
And if we don't do that, then we're failing at something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We need to continue. That's our role as parents, is to bring them back home to God. It's a gift.
Yeah.
They're a total gift. And so that's the beauty of raising children, of being gifted children. And you guys have 3 wonderful kids. I only know 2.
Oh, you don't know the oldest one.
I don't know the
right?
oldest one. I think I only met him once.
Yeah.
I think I only met him once when Samantha was being confirmed.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was the only time.
And you see, I mean, my son, the oldest one, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I don't know. He needs to start working early on Sundays because he's a barber.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you know what? I go to church early in the morning.
Oh, where's this barbershop? Where's it work?
That's Fontana, Best Line and Cherry.
Maybe I need to go get my beard done.
He went to church by himself at 6:00 in the morning. You know, and it's good. He's telling us, and then I think we're doing good with them, because other people, you know, in that situation like he will be kind of like, nah, I don't want to go to church. It's too early. I don't want to go by myself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he went at 6:00 in the morning. He came back around 7:10, kind of like, I'm here. All right,
And
good.
for me, that was so cute. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute that he went by himself, you know, because he knows he needs to go to church every Sunday. And yeah, I was happy about that.
It's the best gift your children can give to you.
Yeah.
Is those kind of things.
Mhm.
And young people don't realize that we don't want material gifts. We just want those kind of gifts.
Yeah.
You know, it makes us so happy. It's like when my daughter, who's in college, says, "Oh, I went to mass." I was like, "Oh, I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus."
Yes.
It's like, oh, and then they say, "Oh, I always go to mass." I was like, oh. and you know, and it's like Lauren's you know, coordinator of the Edge, and you know, she'll say, you know, I'm gonna go to mass later. Whereas like, you're gonna go on your own. It's like, well, yeah. Or she'll tell us, oh, we need to go to mass before this because that's the only mass before we go to the party or something. Those make you happy.
Yes.
It brings you joy.
Yes.
That, oh, man,
Yes.
this is such a blessing.
It is.
Yeah. So for you guys who are young and you want to save money, just tell your parents, you know, just go to mass. You don't have to buy them any presents whatsoever. Just every so often tell, hey, Mom, Dad, I went to mass. And here's a trick too. Just tell them, hey, I offered up my Eucharist for you. Oh, yeah, break your heart. I was like, oh, it's just amazing. It just makes you fall in love all over again.
Yes.
So here's a question. What advice would you give to other young people who want to get married now at a young age?
Ladies first.
Well, you know, right now, teenagers, there's some teenagers, they said, oh, well, we're going to live together. We're going to try, you know, if it works out. I tell my son, because he have a girlfriend, and I told him, you know what? Is that the girl you want to marry for your whole life? He's like, yeah. Well, I don't want you to say, oh, we're going to try. We're going to get an apartment and we're going to try. No, I don't want that. Because that's a sin. So I told him, well, you need to be sure. Talk to God. Pray. If that's the woman you want to live for the rest of your life. If you think she's the one, get married. And I think that's the best thing to do. You know, because you're not living insane. And he's thinking about it.
Good.
He's not he haven't say, oh, I'm gonna try and we're gonna live together. and I told him, when you get married, please don't go to her house or don't bring it here. Don't. Get your own place. you guys are gonna have your own problems.
Mm-hmm.
When you get married, you don't think about problems.
Mm-hmm.
You think good times. Oh, I love you, this and that. You don't think anything about problems. How to solve problems? Nothing. That doesn't come in your mind, problems. But after that, it's different. Having a girlfriend, you don't see her maybe every day.
Yeah.
But when you're together, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's when attitudes. Oh, I don't like this about him. Why he acts like this if he wasn't like that when we were girlfriend and boyfriend? It's people tell us, oh, have a good communication. But how?
Yeah.
Tell me how I'm gonna have a good conversation or communication. And there's a lot of, how do you say, taller? There's a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of help in diocese, about marriages, like how to get a good communication,
Mhm.
like Aventuras en el Matrimonio. And like us, I thought we had a good conversations, a good communication. I thought we had, oh yeah, we don't need that. We have a good communication. No, we were bad. Until I went to Aventuras en el Matrimonio and I'm like, oh my God, we don't know how to communicate. And that's when our communication changed. But we didn't know anything. So for young people that want to get married, it's good to get married.
Mm-hmm.
But with God.
Yeah.
Marry with God. When we marry with God, we see different, the life different.
Mm-hmm. And take that. Yeah. Is that a course? Adventuras?
Yes.
How
So
long
they
is
have
it?
in English too.
They have it in English too.
Yeah. Through
We-
the diocese, through the
Yes.
marriage, life, and
That's right.
family.
You
That's it.
learn a lot.
Yeah, there's people who were before you. 25 things you need to talk about before you get married. That's part in English, but Adventuras de Matrimonio,
En el matrimonio.
en matrimonio,
Mhm.
Adventures in Christ. Definitely something that someone should take before just getting. It's good to get married, but you should take a course.
Yes.
Because your love will only take you so far
Yes.
before
Yeah.
you start getting upset with each other.
Yes.
I don't know how many months. Remember, the love stays for a
I would
year?
say no more than 2 years.
Yeah.
So for 2 years, you were
If
like,
you-
That's it. I mean,
Yeah,
you live in
sure.
the perfect world.
was it really 2 years or 2 months?
It depends, right? It depends, but you know what?
2 months, Laura said, why does he keep the toilet seat up?
But you know what?
He
Something
doesn't
that-
wash the dishes. Laura's like, I'm not your mother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something that we notice. The young people, they don't want to get married because they see something in their houses.
Your
Right?
parents.
The parents, yeah. So if they see the parents fighting, every single day, or even before when they had to go to mass, right?
Mhm.
And they get mad before
In an argument or
Yeah.
something.
So
That's hard.
They see everything, right? They see everything. So as soon as you get back with them or you ask them, hey, get married, they're looking at you like, really?
Yeah.
You want me to get married to to be like you, fighting with my mom or my dad all the time? No, thank you.
Mhm.
Our job as a parents, we need to guide them with example. We need to guide them with example. If I want to talk with my son, it has to be according to the way that I live my faith
Mhm.
in my home. Okay, so that's what I think. A lot of people don't want to get married because of that,
Yeah.
and then because they're saying, we're not ready. We're not ready. Come on, you are 27, 28 years old, and you're not ready yet? Really?
Yeah.
So they prioritize something else before get married.
Yeah.
You know, the material things before they get married. So they can get easily 29, 30 years and they're not ready yet, really. So when we get married by por lo civil, we didn't live together until like 6, 7 months after we get married.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
We got married by court.
Yeah, because we had no place to live
Oh,
together.
so you still lived at home?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he said, I'm not going to your house and you're not going to my house.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have only what when we get together we get a condominium.
We bought it.
We bought a condominium. We have nothing. Just have a couple chairs and a table and that's it. That's it.
So that's
We have a
it's-
mattress and that's it.
So it's 6 months.
6 months after we get married. Yeah.
And people, they were saying, like, how come if you're married, how come you guys are not living together? They thought because, you know, like he didn't have no papers that I was gonna.
Oh, thank you for bringing that. Okay.
I'm like, no, it's not because of that. You know, people, they used to think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go, no, it's because we want to get our own place and we're saving money.
That's important.
After 6 months, we get together.
Yeah.
After 6 months, yep. Yeah.
Because you wanted to get out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, they have. I mean, again, I'm going back again. What they see in their houses, you know, and that's the thing. Then we spoke with the parents in our classes. Hey, how do you guys live the faith?
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys show to your kids your faith? And again, I can talk with my kids or yelling at them, hey, you have to go to mass. But if they don't see me go to mass, they don't do it. They don't do it.
Now, would you say that you shouldn't you shouldn't allow your kids to see you arguing?
That's fine. That's okay. But
There's limits.
no,
Yeah.
they have to see you fixing that situation. Tell them,
That's-
hey, you know what? Yeah, we have problems, but look at this.
Yeah.
We spoke. We fixed this thing, this miscommunication, but everything is fine now. Okay. They
'Cause I
have to
think
know
that's-
how to fix it.
yeah. That's because I think that's also important for them to see. Oh, yeah, my parents argued, but they fixed it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't see that as well, then they have this perfect picture of a marriage, and then they have theirs, and it's like, this isn't perfect like my mom and dad, and because, you know, like my mom and dad, they never argued in front of their kids, so we never thought, it's like, wait, why didn't they? And what they did was they argued in the back. And it's like, you know, that's also not healthy. Because
Yes.
sometimes your kids need to see that, you know, you can get upset with each other, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
But they, as you said, need to be able to fix it
Yeah.
and say, oh, it's like, you know, our faith, the reconciliation,
Mhm,
the act
mhm.
of asking for forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
and being forgiven, you know, for, you know, it's so sacramental.
Even when we have a situation like that, you know, we spoke, we fixed that situation, we get all together on the table. Hey, you know what, guys? You know, yeah, we get mad at each other, but we fix it already, and they know.
Hmm.
The kids know. They see you every time. They know you. You are
They
within
know.
When
24.
something's going on.
Yes, they see your face, especially my
Yeah.
face kind of ugly. They see you, you know. They see you. They notice and something is happening. Even if you told them, no, everything is fine. No, they knew. So you had to get with them, you know, get all you guys together. You know what? Yes, we have problem. We got a situation early this morning, but we spoke already. We fixed it, and everything is fine now. But they need to see it. They need to see it.
That's so beautiful. So, what's in store for the two of you now? What are you guys gonna do now?
After the podcast, go to eat. no?
Now in ministry,
Oh,
what,
go to
what
the
are you guys
taquitos
gonna do
and-
now?
I think he's hungry.
You think he's hungry too?
I was thinking about tacos. Nah, you know what? Again, we notice that the parents need a lot of. We as a parents, we need a lot of help, and I think we will continue working with the parents.
So it's your
If
focus.
is this a God plans, we will go in that direction with the marriage,
Mhm.
with the parents. Yeah.
I think it's very much needed. And that's one of the reasons why we did this series, is that people were saying, how come you don't talk to parents? Because, young people and even older people, even married people, need to listen, need to hear um, what other parents are going through.
Mhm. Yes.
It's one of those things when we focus always on young people, they never get to see what the other half
Yeah.
is going through.
Yeah.
And our young people see their parents, and for them to know that there is a place that they can send their parents and say, hey, you know what, you should go to this thing. I heard it on the podcast. You should.
That's
There's
correct.
actually ministries for marriage and family.
Yes.
There's actually ministries that you can go to that'll help you talk about your marriage in faith. People who are broken just like you and me, and be able to come out better.
Mhm. Mhm.
Miracles happen every day.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that's so beautiful. You guys have any last words for our listeners that you want to share? How to get a hold of you, how to get a hold of ministries, things that you want to recommend.
Ladies first.
Yeah, he's always told that.
Well, I want to recommend to look for the, what is it, adventures?
Aventuras en matrimonio.
I mean, English.
Adventures in
Ad-
marriage.
adventures in marriage to
Now that's
to
from
get
the
the
diocese,
class,
right?
yes.
Yeah, they can get that from
it
the diocese.
helps a
Yes.
lot. It helps a lot to have a good communication.
That's even if you've been married.
Yes.
So
Oh,
even if
yeah.
you've been married 20, 30, 40 years,
Yes.
you should take this course.
Yes. It's very important.
Now-
It helps a lot.
Now, is that a course only offered at St. Mary's, or is there a list that goes
It's
around?
from the diocese. It's in the whole.
Visit the website, Marriage Family. Talk to Mario and Paula.
Yes.
Paola.
Yes, because
that's
they
correct.
have a.
Yeah. They're going to be on the podcast next.
Oh, really?
Really.
Wow.
I'm saying that so they can't say no now.
Well, they have so much to.
They have
to
too
talk.
much help over there. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's beautiful. I want to thank you too for really sharing your testimony and sharing your beautiful adventure in your marriage because it is beautiful. This is the first episode that I cried, except for the time when my wife and I were on it. But that's such a beautiful story. It's true, and I think a lot of people will hear this, and they will remember the beauty of where they started in their adventure and where they are now. And so, fam, if you're listening and what you heard resonated with you, and you want to experience the things that Joel and Laura experienced, go to that resource that they just said, and truly go on that adventure in marriage, because it's not about walking two paths. It's about walking one path with Jesus holding your hands.
Yeah.
And that's what we're called to do. We take on that sacrament of matrimony to lead our kids
Mm.
closer and back home to Jesus Christ through our witness. So
Correct.
again, thank you so much for coming on the show. I do have a couple of announcements. I want to share that, if you haven't yet gone and seen our producer Tony's newest show on YouTube, it launched a couple of months back. Go check it out, Tony Pimentel. Also, we want to thank some of our sponsors, some of our patrons, Jose Valdez, our Valdez Group. He's one of the realtors, and Isabel Vickery. She is the proprietor of The Cabin 2021. This is in the mountains of Running Springs. You can always go check it out if you want to go stay over there. I think it's one of the most beautiful Airbnbs, and Joel's son, who's a barber over there somewhere in North Fontana. Yeah, go check it out. Get your hair cut over there. Check us out at St. Mary's if you want to come see us and see Joel and Laura. And even if you want to sit in on their class, I don't know if you're going to be able to, but sit in the back like I do. You're always welcome at St. Mary's to experience the Holy Spirit flowing through all those people over there. So on that note, that's all we have for you today, fam. I pray that what was shared here today connected with you. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to catholic.dad50@gmail.com. Make sure to share our podcast to your friends, and consider subscribing to get notified of the latest episode releases. I'm also asking you to support our show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/thisconnected. It's all in our bio on our Instagram. And of course, as always, remember, fam, live a life of holiness. We'll be praying for you. Please pray for us. And as always, be blessed and be third.
Different points of view and highs and lows, a new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind and drown out the noise of different generations of the girls and boys. So sit back and relax, this is Catholic Podcast. Don't overreact if these thoughts are abstract. When it's hosted by Catholic Dad, who knows what's gonna happen?
Hey, what's up, fam?
Different points of view and highs and lows, a new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind and drown out the noise, and see if this connected.
What's up, fam? To connect generations and situations about faith, life, and whatever comes along the way.
Expect runaway thoughts like a runaway train. Break into conversation like links of a chain. Make a Hail Mary pass, hope this connects. Have a question for a guest, put it to rest. Live a life of holiness, lead by example. Follow at Catholic.Dad and Mini Tangled. Christ leads our way, he's the good shepherd. Pray for one another, be blessed, and be third. Different points of view and highs and lows, a new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind and drown out the noise, and see if this connected.
Thank you, Will and Laura,
Thank
for
you.
coming on the
Thank
show. And God bless you, too, for your witness and testimony.
Thank you.
But see you later again. Until next time, fam. Bye-bye. Let's turn that off. I think that's good. Let's turn that